Hi, this is Al Souza from Kraken Studios. We're going to be talking about Kingdom, Dungeon, and Hero, tutorial number 4, locations, districts, and buildings, and fortifications. You get to districts over here. It's the second menu option. And districts show you all the buildings that can be built. Every location can build anywhere from 0 to 5 buildings. Only outposts, like this one over here, you cannot build any buildings. But everywhere else, you could build at least one building. Any village, any hamlet, any city, any town. When you click this, it'll show you the information on the location, its descent, its population size, all the resources that it produces, how much food storage it has, and its fortification level. You can also hover over here instead of clicking something to have a really quick look at how many buildings they have and what the resources are. Down here you have fortifications. Fortifications are important to hold off attacking armies from taking your location. The higher your fortification, the harder it is for them to breach, the less casualties you will take, and the longer you hold out. One thing I want to touch on is the food storage. The higher food storage that a location has, the longer a army can hold out when surrounded. A location gets surrounded when all the land hexes around the location are occupied by an enemy. It's basically a siege. Down here it shows you the buildings, what the buildings are, when they will be ready to be available for use, and you could also destroy a building, which yields 1/3 of its cost back to our treasury in resources and gold. You can assign a hero that has one of 4 traits: farmer, miner, creative, or administrator, to govern a location. But pick the locations carefully, because some of the traits do better in certain locations than others. For example, you don't want to put a hero with a farmer trait at a location that doesn't really produce any food and produces more iron, and vice versa. Let's go over the buildings. The buildings you build once, there's no upgrading them, but some buildings do have research attached to them. The granary allows you to increase your local and global food storage, which can be seen over here. So if a granary was built, this would go to 57. For local food storage, this is the food storage over here of the location itself, which affects if units are surrounded. The market on average generates plus 10% gold for a location. It could generate less or it could generate more depending. It also yields plus 2 food from trade. A temple increases the stability of your kingdom based on the ratio of temples to your locations. So the more locations that have temples, the more of this benefit you get. So if all your locations have temples, you have 20% of an increase in stability. If half of them do, you have a 10% increase. Library increases your maximum alchemist and increases your chance to recruit an alchemist by +1 per turn. Sometimes when researching, an alchemist dies in a horrible experiment. Council Hall means that the location generates 50% less production. Once you start going over 60 population, you start getting corruption into the system, into your economy, which reduces the production of everything. So, for example, if you had a council hall in the capital, their population of 10 would only count as 5 toward corruption. Barracks allow you to deploy trained or better units, trained or better in morale. So if you notice the militia is a weak unit, you could build it anywhere. But a swordsman is trained. You need a barracks to deploy them there. A guild increases the maximum heroes that you may have. You start off with 12, and they can only be placed in a town, city, or crown. Harvester increases food and wood production based on research. Excavator increases iron and stone production based on research. Purifier increases shard production based on research. But these buildings are only based on what the location already makes. So if a location makes no shards, this does not increase shard production. Whatever amount of shards it does make, it'll up to double that to a certain amount. The Mage Tower counts as a 10 strength unit that has an 8 range attack, but you need another unit at the location for this to be functional. It works really well with fortifications. So if your capital has maximum fortifications, plus a mage tower, it's going to be really hard to take it out. They have to starve it out. And that sums it up for buildings. I hope the video was helpful, and have a great day.